Welcome back to this blog. This month we've been talking about intentions, and we've been talking specifically about writing intentions, which is a wonderful thing to be doing. And as much as we write intentions, their purpose is to help us be who we want to be, show up in the way we want, to have much more influence in the way our day and our life unfolds. But underneath intentions really is this amazing river of life, the flow of energy. That's what's really bubbling underneath the surface. And it's this energy that we want to really be tapped into. Because intentions are living, breathing things. They're not static. It's not a fixed thing. Your capacity to live into your intentions really rests on your ability to be in the present. And as we know, being in the present is much harder to do than it sounds. It's easy to say, much harder to deliver. It's interesting, this past weekend we hosted a mandala painting workshop, and we had many beginners, and they came from all parts of the country to see and discover what would happen when they stepped into their creativity. And so it's interesting to think, what were their intentions? I think there's some people that came with an intention and a desire to create a piece of beauty. And ironically, we saw some people create something of beauty, and yet their mind was in the way and not able to let them see the beauty. Fascinating. There it was, but they couldn't see it. And other people came with what's called a beginner's mind. They came open and curious, just ready to explore and see what would happen, and they were amazed at what happened. So, how we show up makes a tremendous difference. So let's talk some more about this being present business. I was at a Byron Katie workshop a number of years ago, and she's a woman I deeply respect because she lives what she teaches. Anyway, in this workshop, at one point, she made a profound and shocking statement. She said, "If you are fully in the present, there are no more decisions to make." I was so shocked when I heard that. My mind immediately basically shut down, and all I could hear in my head was, that's impossible. I can't imagine it. We all make hundreds of decisions every day. How could you possibly have an end to making decisions? So anyway, that was such a shocking thought, but like any real truth, it doesn't really go away. I just parked it. And I parked it so well, it was probably 2 years before I was ready to take that idea out from the spot I had put it and re-examine it. I tried a few times in between in that 2 years, but I couldn't imagine it. I could not imagine no more decisions to make. Well, anyway, I finally got myself ready. And after 2 years of letting this kind of sit in the background, nudging me now and again, I decided to try it out. And so, this one particular day, my feet hit the floor. And immediately, I remembered that I decided for that day to not make any decisions, to see if there was any truth in that idea. So there I was, feet on the floor, sitting on the side of the bed, and my mind was going crazy. It was like, are you going to the bathroom? Are you going to get some water? Back, forth, what, da. And I could just see it. And so I just had to tell it to be quiet. I was a little more blunt. Shut up. I'm sitting. I'm not deciding. So there I am. I sit. I take a deep breath. And I notice after I've calmed down that suddenly I am standing. And I'm moving towards the bathroom, having made no conscious decision. Well, that was pretty interesting. And then I seemed to float towards the kitchen and got some water. And partway through that, I remembered a friend who'd had back surgery. And I'd promised to send him some audio tapes to listen to while he was flat on his back for 3 weeks. Well, suddenly, this was the moment. I needed to do those. But what I haven't told you is that the day I decided to try this out was the day before I was leaving for 3 weeks to go to Colombia, South America to teach. So I had a to-do list this long. It was a total setup at some level. Basically me saying, there's no way this will ever work. We'll just set it up to fail. So there I have this big list, and all of a sudden, this friend comes into my mind whom I promised to send tapes to. And I notice I'm doing it. I'm recording those tapes. Yes, those were the days of audio tapes. And then I'm wrapping them up in brown paper. And then I notice that I'm going out the door to the post office and I'm mailing these, and my mind is going crazy. You don't have time for this. This isn't on the list. What are you going to do? Da, da, da. Well, the day flowed by as I just stayed with this commitment to not decide and allow the very next right thing to emerge. And the amazing thing is, by the end of the day, my bags were packed. Everything on the to-do list was done. And other things that I hadn't even dreamt I would do that day were also completed. It was amazing. And I truly cannot tell you how I accomplished so much. It was effortless, and yet it was so purposeful. And so I discovered some very profound truths out of that experience. I discovered that many of the things my mind said would happen didn't happen. I discovered that, in fact, when I'm present, I will be able to tap into information and knowledge that I'm not even consciously paying attention to, or things that I'd actually forgotten or deleted, like my commitment to this friend. I discovered I could be more generous, more open-hearted when I was in the present, because time had disappeared. I felt I had the time. And I discovered that I actually could live into my intentions and be who I really wanted to be. And so everything my mind had said, which was, this will never work. You'll never get anything done. You're going to be stressed out to the max. You won't be ready for tomorrow, and so on, wasn't true. My mind was not telling me the truth. And so the wonderful traditions, there's many of them, there's many teachers, about how we have space from our mind, how we find a way to step back from our mind and not be enmeshed in it, not be captured by it. Because the mind, if left to its own devices, oh my goodness, it will chase its tail. It'll go round and round. As they say, we're capable of cutting off our nose in spite of our face, of doing terrible things and being deeply unhappy with the result, the whole time thinking it was going to work fine. And so this brings us right back full circle to intentions. Intentions help us set the frame for how we want to be. They help us be clear on what matters. And writing them helps them come alive. But underneath that, then you must step into them. You must come present so that that intention can unfold moment by moment, breath by breath, action and word by word. So I hope that you are intrigued with this idea. Many people, when they hear this story, ask me the question, so do you live that way all the time? No. Not even close. Would I like to? Absolutely. Why don't I? Life. Busyness. I get distracted. I get busy. I get off track. I forget to write intentions. I become not present. It's a journey. It's not about perfection. And so I want to leave you with a thought. I love this quote. Anne Lamott wrote it, and she said, "My mind is like a bad neighborhood. I try never to go there alone." Isn't that a great one? So let's take a little break, a little step back from the mind that drives us and is so relentless in its to-do list, And let's step into our hearts and come forward and see what kind of week we can have. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you next week.